Welcome to the Wealth Game. My friend, have you ever wondered why some people build generational wealth while others work their entire lives and die broke? It's not about luck. It's not about connections. It's about understanding one simple truth. Wealth is a game, and right now, you don't even know you're playing it. The poor think money is everything, but the wealthy? They know money is just a tool in a much bigger game. And today, that changes for you, because I'm going to show you the rules, the real rules, the ones they never taught you in school. Ask yourself honestly, where will you be in 5 years if nothing changes? Still trading your time for money? Still living paycheck to paycheck? Still playing the game by the wrong rules? Here's the truth nobody tells you. There are two types of people in this world: those who know the wealth game exists, and those who don't. The ones who don't, they spend their lives wondering why they can't get ahead. They work hard, they follow the rules, they do everything right, and they stay broke. But the ones who understand the game, they build capital, they create assets, they make money work for them, and they win. Not because they're smarter, not because they're luckier, because they know the rules. Listen closely, my friend. This is where everything changes for you. Poor people see money as something to earn and spend. They get their paycheck, they pay their bills, they spend what's left. Then they do it all over again next month. It's a cycle, a trap, a game they can't win because they don't even know they're playing. Rich people see money differently. They see it as capital, as a tool for creating more wealth. They don't work for money. They make money work for them. They build systems. They create businesses. They acquire assets that generate income while they sleep. Think about it. Two people, same education, same starting point. One builds wealth, one stays broke. What's the difference? The game. One person knows the rules, the other doesn't. And here's what kills me. Here's what keeps people trapped. They think the game is about working harder, getting a better job, making more money. But that's not the game at all. That's the trap. That's exactly what keeps you broke. The real game? It's about transition, moving from one quadrant to another, from employee to business owner, from trading time for money to building systems that generate wealth, from working in the game to understanding how the game actually works. Let me tell you something about the wealth game that changed my life. Every game has rules. Football has rules. Chess has rules. Even Monopoly has rules. But here's the difference. In the wealth game, most people don't even know the rules exist. They're playing blind. And you can't win a game when you don't know the rules. The wealthy understand this. They study the rules. They master the rules. And here's the secret. They create their own rules. Because that's what real wealth gives you. The power to change the game itself. Poor people play by rules they never agreed to. Work 40 years, save 10%, retire at 65, hope your money lasts. Those are the corporate rules, the system's rules. And those rules are designed to keep you in the game, but never let you win. Rich people? They write different rules. Build assets, create passive income, invest in businesses, let capital work while you live. These rules lead to freedom, to wealth, to generational prosperity. Now ask yourself, which rules are you playing by? Here's what happens to most people. They wake up at 45, 50, 55 years old. They've worked their whole lives. They've been responsible. They've followed the rules. And they realize they're still broke, still struggling, still trapped, because they were playing the wrong game all along. But my friend, you're different. You're here. You're listening. You're ready to learn the real rules. The rules that actually create wealth, the rules that build capital, the rules that set you free. And that's exactly what we're going to do together. Over the next hour, I'm going to break down this game, piece by piece, rule by rule, from how money really works to how the wealthy think, from building your first asset to creating income that flows without you working, from playing the game to mastering it. Because here's the truth. Financial freedom isn't some distant dream. It's not for other people. It's a choice. Your choice. A choice to stop playing by the wrong rules and start playing the game that actually creates wealth. Remember this, my friend. Remember this always. Wealth is not about how much money you make. It's about understanding the game. And once you understand the game, everything changes. Your mindset changes. Your decisions change. Your future changes. The poor work for money. The rich make money work for them. That's not just a saying. That's the foundation of the entire wealth game. And it starts with one simple shift. Seeing money not as something to spend, but as capital to deploy. Not as an end goal, but as a tool for creating freedom. Think about the wealthiest families in the world. The ones who maintain wealth across generations. They're not just making money. They're playing a completely different game. A game of capital preservation, of asset creation, of building systems that outlast them. They understand that wealth isn't about one big score. It's about playing the long game, the generational game. And here's what's beautiful about this. You can start playing this game today, right now. It doesn't matter where you are. What matters is that you understand the game exists, that you're ready to learn the rules, that you're willing to transition from where you are to where you want to be. My friend, if this is resonating with you, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe. Because we're building a community of people who refuse to stay broke. People who are ready to understand the wealth game. People who want to learn the real rules. And I want you to be part of this movement. We're not just talking about money here. We're talking about freedom, about choice, about building a life that works for you instead of you working for life. This is your invitation. Your invitation to stop playing the game by their rules and start playing by the rules that actually create wealth. Are you ready? Because, my friend, the game is about to begin. The capital game, how money actually works. Here's the truth, my friend. Most people don't understand the difference between money and capital. And that one misunderstanding keeps them broke their entire lives. Let me explain. Money is what you earn from your job. It's what sits in your bank account. It's what you use to buy groceries, pay bills, keep the lights on. Money is temporary. You earn it, you spend it, it's gone. But capital? Capital is completely different. Capital is money with a job. Capital works. Capital creates. Capital multiplies. The wealthy don't just have money, they have capital. And that's the game changer. Poor people earn money and spend it. Rich people turn money into capital and let it work. Think about that for a moment. When you get your paycheck, what happens? You pay rent. You buy food. You cover expenses. The money comes in and goes right back out. You're trading your time for money, and that money disappears. But when wealthy people get money, they ask a different question. They don't ask, "What can I buy?" They ask, "What can this create?" They turn that money into capital. They buy assets. They invest in businesses. They create income streams. And that capital keeps working, keeps creating, keeps multiplying. This is the capital game. And understanding this game changes everything. Let me break down something called the income quadrant. This is how money flows in the real world. On one side, you have employees and self-employed people. On the other side, you have business owners and investors. Two completely different games. Two completely different results. Employees trade time for money. They work 40 hours, they get paid. They work more hours, they get paid more. But here's the problem. Time is limited. You only have 24 hours in a day. So your income is capped. Capped by time. Capped by the rules of the quadrant you're playing in. Self-employed people think they've escaped. They're their own boss. They control their time. But here's the truth. They're still trading time for money. A lawyer bills hours. A consultant charges for time. A freelancer gets paid per project. Stop working, stop earning. Same trap, different label. Now let's look at the other side. Business owners create systems. They build something that works without them. They hire people. They create processes. They scale. The business generates income whether they're working or sleeping. That's capital at work. That's the game the wealthy play. And investors? They've mastered the capital game completely. Their money works. Their assets create income. Real estate generates rent. Stocks pay dividends. Businesses produce profits. They're not in the equation anymore. Capital is doing all the work. Ask yourself, which quadrant are you in right now? Here's what happens to most people. They start as employees. They work hard. They get promoted. They make more money. And they think they're winning. But they're still in the same quadrant. Still trading time for money. Still trapped. The transition is what matters. Moving from the left side of the quadrant to the right side. From employee to business owner. From worker to investor. From spending money to creating capital. That's where wealth is built. That's where freedom lives. Listen closely, my friend. The rules of capital creation are simple, but most people never learn them. So here they are. Pay attention. These rules will change your life. Rule number 1, assets over income. Poor people chase bigger paychecks. Rich people acquire assets. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. A rental property, a business, stocks that pay dividends, intellectual property that generates royalties. Assets work for you. Income requires you to work. Rule number 2, create before you consume. The broke get paid and spend immediately. The wealthy get paid and invest first. They create capital before they enjoy the rewards. They delay gratification to build systems that create lasting wealth. Rule number 3, leverage other people's time and money. You can't build serious wealth alone. The wealthy use teams. They use investors. They use banks. They multiply their efforts through people and capital. Your time is limited, but when you leverage others, the possibilities become unlimited. Rule number 4, focus on cash flow, not net worth. Net worth looks good on paper, but cash flow creates freedom. The wealthy build assets that generate consistent income, money flowing in every month, every week, every day. That's real wealth. That's what buys you time and choices. Think about this. 2 people with $1 million. Person 1 has it sitting in the bank. Person 2 has it invested in assets generating 10% returns annually. That's $100,000 per year, over $8,000 per month. Passive income, money working. That's the difference between money and capital. Poor people see $1 million as the finish line. Rich people see it as a tool for creating more wealth, a tool for building systems, a tool that never stops working. Here's the reality most people don't understand. Building capital isn't about making more money. It's about changing how you see money. When you earn $1, you have a choice. Spend it and it's gone. Invest it and it multiplies. That one decision, repeated over time, creates completely different lives. The corporate world teaches you to be a good employee. Work hard, get promoted, increase your salary, save for retirement. Those are the rules that keep you in the left quadrants. Those are the rules that keep you working until you're 65, hoping your savings last. But the capital game? It teaches different rules. Build assets early. Create income streams. Invest in businesses. Let compound growth work its magic. The wealthy retire at 30, 40, 50, not because they made more money, because they played a different game. And here's what's powerful. You can start playing this game today, right now. It doesn't require $1 million. It requires a shift. A shift from consumer to creator, from spender to investor, from earning money to building capital. Start small. Take 10% of what you earn. Don't spend it. Invest it. Buy your first asset. Maybe it's a book that teaches you about business. Maybe it's a course on real estate investing. Maybe it's your first share of stock. The amount doesn't matter. The habit matters. The mindset matters. The transition matters. Because here's the truth, my friend. Every wealthy person started somewhere. They weren't born with capital. They created it. They learned the game. They followed the rules. And they transitioned from one quadrant to another. From worker to builder. From broke to wealthy. Remember this. Money is temporary. Capital is permanent. Money gets spent. Capital creates more money. Money limits you. Capital frees you. The game isn't about earning more. It's about creating capital that works while you live. The wealthy don't work for money. They build systems that create capital. They acquire assets that generate income. They play the long game, the capital game, the game that actually builds generational wealth. My friend, you're learning the rules now. You're seeing the game clearly. The question is, are you ready to transition? Are you ready to stop trading time for money and start building capital? Because that's where everything changes. That's where wealth begins. The art of building business. Create the system. My friend, let me tell you about the biggest lie most people believe. They think owning a business means freedom. They think being self-employed means they've escaped the rat race. But here's the truth. Most business owners don't own a business. They own a job. And that job owns them. There's a massive difference between having a job, being self-employed, owning a business, and building a system. Most people never learn this difference, and it keeps them trapped, working harder than they ever did as employees. Let me break this down for you. When you're self-employed, you're the business, you're the product, you're the service. A doctor who runs their own practice, a consultant who sells their expertise, a freelancer who trades skills for money. The moment you stop working, the money stops. You haven't built a business, you've built yourself a job with longer hours. But when you truly own a business, when you build a real system, you can walk away and it keeps running. It keeps creating value. It keeps generating income. That's the difference between working in your business and working on your business. Poor people buy themselves jobs and call it entrepreneurship. Rich people build systems and call it freedom. Think about McDonald's. Ray Kroc didn't build a hamburger business. He built a system. A system so perfect, so replicable, that any teenager can walk in and run it. The system works. The system creates value. The system generates billions. Ray Kroc understood something most business owners never learn. Systems create wealth, not people. Here's what happens to most entrepreneurs. They start a business because they're good at something. They're a great baker, an amazing graphic designer, a skilled contractor. So they start their own thing. And at first, it feels like freedom. No boss, no rules, no limits. But then reality hits. They're working 70, 80 hours a week. They're doing everything. Sales, delivery, customer service, accounting. They can't take a vacation because the business stops without them. They've created a monster. A job that demands more than any employer ever did. And here's the kicker. They're making less money than they did before. Because they're not building a business. They're being the business. And you can't scale yourself. You can't multiply yourself. You're the bottleneck. The wealthy think differently. They think in systems. They think in processes. They think corporate, even when they're building small businesses. What does that mean? It means they build something that works without them. Something that can scale. Something that creates value even when they're sleeping. Listen closely, my friend. This is where most people get it wrong. They think business is about working hard, about hustling, about grinding. But that's not business. That's labor. Real business is about leverage, about systems, about creating something bigger than yourself. Here are the rules of system building. These are the rules that separate real business owners from self-employed people pretending to be entrepreneurs. Rule number 1. Document everything. Every process, every task, every step. If it's in your head, it dies with you. If it's documented, anyone can do it. The wealthy create manuals, systems, processes that work without them. Poor people think they're irreplaceable. Rich people make themselves unnecessary. Rule number 2, hire for the system, not for the person. Most business owners hire people and then figure out what they'll do. That's backwards. Build the system first. Create the roles. Define the processes. Then find people to fill those roles. The system is the boss, not you. Rule number 3, test and refine constantly. Your first system won't be perfect. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is improvement. Every week, every month, make it better. Make it smoother. Make it more efficient. The wealthy iterate. They improve. They evolve their systems. Rule number 4, remove yourself from operations. This is the hardest part. Most business owners think they need to be involved in everything, but that's the trap. Your job as a real business owner is to work on the system, not in it. Strategy, not tasks. Vision, not execution. Think about this for a moment. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft. These companies create billions in value. But Jeff Bezos isn't packing boxes. Tim Cook isn't assembling iPhones. Bill Gates isn't writing code anymore. They built systems. Systems run by people. Systems that scale infinitely. That's corporate thinking. And you need corporate thinking even if you're a small business owner, even if you're just starting. Because corporate thinking is what creates real wealth. It's what builds businesses that can be sold, businesses that generate passive income, businesses that work without you. Here's the transition that matters, from technician to manager to owner. Most people start as technicians. They do the work. They're good at it. So they become managers. They manage people doing the work. But they never make the final transition to owner, to system builder, to someone who creates the game instead of playing in it. Poor people are technicians pretending to be business owners. Rich people are system architects building wealth machines. Let me tell you what kills most businesses. The owner. Not competition. Not the market. Not bad luck. The owner who can't let go. Who can't trust the system. Who thinks they need to control everything. They become the ceiling. The business can only grow as much as they can personally handle. And that's not very far. But when you build real systems, when you trust the process, when you empower people within a framework, the business scales. It grows beyond you. It creates wealth while you focus on strategy, on growth, on building the next system. Here's what the wealthy understand about people and systems. People are important, but systems are what create consistency. You hire great people and plug them into great systems. The system guides them, trains them, empowers them, and protects the business from depending on any one person. McDonald's doesn't need the world's best burger flipper. They need a system so good that average people create consistent results. That's the power of systems. That's what lets them open thousands of locations. That's what creates billions in capital. Ask yourself honestly, if you disappeared for 3 months, would your business keep running? Would it keep making money? Would it keep serving customers? If the answer is no, you don't own a business. You are the business. And that's not freedom. That's a trap dressed up as entrepreneurship. The transition from self-employed to business owner is everything. It's the difference between trading time for money and building capital, between working until you die and creating generational wealth, between stress and freedom. And it starts with a mindset shift. From I need to do everything to I need to build something that works without me. From I'm the expert to I need to create a system that trains experts. From working in the business to working on the business. Here's your challenge, my friend. Look at your business. Look at your work. Where are you the bottleneck? Where does everything stop if you stop? That's where you need to build your first system. Document it, process it, train someone else to do it, then move on to the next bottleneck. Because here's the truth. You can't build wealth if you're stuck in operations. You can't scale if everything requires you. You can't create freedom if the business needs you every day. Systems set you free. Systems create the space for growth. Systems turn your business into capital. The corporate world understands this. That's why corporations outlive their founders. That's why they grow massive. That's why they create wealth across generations. Not because they have better people, because they have better systems. And you can do the same. Start today. Start small, but start building systems. Systems that work without you. Systems that create value. Systems that generate wealth. That's how you transition from business owner to wealth builder, from working to winning, from trapped to free. Remember this, my friend. People work, systems scale. People get tired. Systems keep running. People are limited. Systems are infinite. Build the system. Trust the system. Let the system work. That's how real wealth is created. Family wealth, the generational transition. My friend, here's something that separates the truly wealthy from everyone else. They don't just build wealth for themselves. They build wealth that lasts. Wealth that survives them. Wealth that serves their children, their grandchildren, and generations they'll never meet. Poor people think about next month's rent. Middle class thinks about retirement. But the wealthy? They think in generations. They think in centuries. They play a completely different game, the generational game. And here's what's fascinating. Most people who make money lose it within one generation. Lottery winners go broke. Athletes file bankruptcy. Entrepreneurs build empires that die with them. Why? Because they never learned wealth preservation. They never learned how to pass it on. They never understood that building wealth is one game, but keeping wealth is another game entirely. Let me tell you about family wealth, real family wealth, the kind that survives transitions, markets, economic crashes, and time itself. This isn't about leaving your kids some money. This is about creating a legacy, a foundation, a system that provides for generations. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Vanderbilts. Some kept their wealth, some lost it. What made the difference? Not how much they made, how well they preserved it, how effectively they transitioned it, how deeply they educated the next generation. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Your children won't value what you built unless you teach them how you built it. Money without education is a curse. Wealth without wisdom destroys families. Capital without character corrupts generations. Poor people leave their children nothing and wonder why they struggle. Rich people leave their children everything and wonder why they fail. But the truly wealthy, they leave their children education, values, systems, and then the wealth to deploy it wisely. Think about it. You work your entire life. You build a business. You accumulate assets. You create wealth. Then you die. And within 10 years, it's gone. Your children sell the business. They spend the money. They squander what took you decades to build. Why? Because they never learned the game. They inherited wealth, but not the mindset. Capital, but not the character. This is the tragedy of wealth, and it happens to families every single day. Not because the children are bad people, because they were never taught, never prepared, never transitioned properly into the role of wealth steward. Listen closely, my friend. Wealth preservation is an art, and like any art, it has rules. Rules that must be learned, rules that must be followed, rules that separate families that keep wealth from families that lose it. Rule number 1, teach the game before giving the money. Your children need to understand how wealth is created before they can preserve it. They need to know about capital, assets, systems, and business. They need to play the game themselves before inheriting the results of your game. Rule number 2, create trust structures, not just inheritances. A trust isn't just a legal document, it's a protection system. It protects wealth from bad decisions, from predators, from the weaknesses we all have. The wealthy use trusts to ensure their capital serves their family across generations, with rules and guidelines that keep it safe. Rule number 3, education over gifts. Poor people give their children toys. Middle class gives their children college. The wealthy give their children financial education. They teach them about money, business, investing, and wealth preservation. They prepare them to be stewards, not just inheritors. Rule number 4, involve them early. Don't wait until you're gone to teach your children about wealth. Bring them into the business. Show them the investments. Teach them the decisions. Let them learn while you're there to guide them. Transition is easier when it's gradual, not sudden. Here's what kills family wealth: the lack of transition planning. Most people build wealth but never prepare the next generation to receive it. They work in silence. They keep finances private. They think they're protecting their children, but they're actually setting them up to fail. Because here's what happens: you die. Your children inherit everything, and they have no idea what to do with it. No understanding of how it was built. No appreciation for the sacrifice it took. No wisdom about how to preserve it. So they make mistakes, big mistakes, and the wealth evaporates. The wealthy families that maintain wealth across generations do something different. They create what's called a family office, a system dedicated to managing and preserving family wealth. Not just investments, but education, values, governance, decision-making frameworks that outlast any one person. Think about the great Canadian families, the Thompsons, the Westons, the Irvings. They've maintained wealth for generations, not by accident, by design, through careful planning, education, and transition systems that ensure each generation is prepared to receive and steward the wealth. Now, you might be thinking, I'm just starting to build wealth. Why should I care about generational transfer? Here's why, my friend. Because how you think about wealth determines how you build it. If you're building wealth just for yourself, you'll make different decisions than if you're building it for generations. When you think generationally, you invest differently. You take fewer risks with capital preservation. You build businesses that can last. You create systems that outlive you. You think long-term, not short-term, and that changes everything. Poor people consume wealth. Rich people enjoy wealth. But the truly wealthy, they steward wealth. They see themselves as caretakers for the next generation, temporary managers of resources that belong to the family, not just to them. And here's what's powerful about this mindset. It removes ego from the equation. It's not about you anymore. It's about something bigger, something that lasts, something that serves people you'll never meet. That's legacy. That's real wealth. That's what the greatest families understand. Let me tell you about trust, not the legal structure, the foundation of family wealth. Trust between generations, trust in the systems, trust in the values, trust in the education passed down. Without trust, wealth destroys families. With trust, wealth strengthens them. The wealthy teach their children that wealth comes with responsibility, that money is a tool for creating good in the world, that capital must be deployed wisely, that systems must be maintained, that the family name means something, that legacy matters more than luxury. Poor people teach their children that money is scarce, that rich people are lucky or evil, that wealth is about spending and showing off. Those beliefs ensure poverty continues, generation after generation. But when you teach your children the truth about wealth, when you show them how it's created, preserved, and deployed, when you give them the tools, the education, and the character to handle it wisely, you break the cycle. You create something that lasts. Here's your challenge, my friend. Even if you're just starting, even if you don't have much wealth yet, start thinking generationally. Start teaching your children about money, business, and capital. Start building systems that can outlast you. Start creating a foundation for generational wealth. Because wealth preservation starts before you have wealth to preserve. It starts with the mindset, with the values, with the commitment to building something bigger than yourself, something that serves your family across time. The transition from one generation to the next is the most critical moment in family wealth. It's where empires are maintained or destroyed, where legacies are built or broken, where wealth becomes a blessing or a curse. And it all depends on preparation, education, and systems. Remember this, you're not just building wealth for yourself, you're building it for people you love, people you'll never meet, generations that will benefit from your work, your wisdom, and your vision. That's responsibility. That's legacy. That's real wealth. Asset creation, the multiplier of money. My friend, wealth isn't built by working harder. It's built by creating assets. Assets that work. Assets that multiply. Assets that generate income while you sleep. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket without you showing up. A rental property generating monthly rent. A business producing profit. Stocks paying dividends. That's an asset. Money working for you. Poor people collect things. Rich people collect assets. The broke buy cars, jewelry, gadgets, things that lose value, things that drain wealth. But the wealthy? They buy assets. Things that appreciate, things that generate cash flow, things that multiply capital. Here's the wealth formula. Income minus expenses equals savings. Savings invested in assets equals wealth. Assets multiplied by time equals financial freedom. But most people never get past spending. No assets created, no wealth built. The compound effect is the eighth wonder of the world. You invest $10,000 at 10% annually. Year 10, almost $26,000. Year 20, over $67,000. Year 30, over $174,000. Same investment. That's compound growth. But most people quit after 1 year. They see small returns and give up. They never let compound effect work its magic. Poor people want instant results. Rich people play the long game. Golden rules of investing. Rule 1. Invest in what you understand. Rule 2. Diversification protects wealth. Rule 3. Cash flow beats appreciation. Rule 4. Reinvest your returns. Rule 5. Time in market beats timing the market. Build your asset portfolio in 3 tiers. Foundation assets, stable, reliable investments. Growth assets, higher risk, higher returns. Speculative assets, small portion, high risk. The wealthy balance all 3. Create multiple income streams. The average millionaire has 7. Salary, rental income, dividends, business profit, royalties, interest, capital gains. Poor people have 1 stream and pray it never stops. Rich people build multiple streams and know they're protected. You don't need millions to start. You need a plan, discipline, patience. Start with whatever you have. $100, $1,000. What matters is you start, you invest, you let compound growth begin. Remember, your job income is limited by time, but asset income, unlimited. Assets don't get tired. They work 24/7, forever. That's the multiplier. That's freedom. That's wealth. The rules of the game. Secrets the wealthy know. Every game has rules, and the wealth game? Most people don't even know the rules exist. They're playing blind, and you can't win when you don't know the rules. The system is designed, not random, not fair. Designed with rules that benefit specific people. Poor people play by rules they never agreed to. Rich people understand the rules and use them. The ultra-wealthy, they create the rules. Rule 1. Money flows to those who understand money. Not hard workers, not smart people. Those who know how the game works. The wealthy study money, capital, investing, business. Knowledge becomes power. Power becomes wealth. Rule 2. Taxes are optional for the wealthy. The broke pay 30–40%. The wealthy pay 10–15%, sometimes 0. How? They know the rules. Corporations, tax-advantaged assets, legal structures. The system allows this. Rule 3. Debt is a tool, not a burden. Poor people use debt to buy things that lose value. That's bad debt. The wealthy borrow money to buy assets that generate income. The asset pays the debt. They keep the profit. That's leverage. Rule 4. The system protects assets, not income. Salary gets taxed immediately, but capital gains? Lower rates, paid later. The system rewards asset owners. It punishes employees, by design. Rule 5. Corporations are shields. The wealthy don't own things personally. They create LLCs, trusts, corporations. Protection, tax advantages. Business liabilities stay separate from personal assets. Here's the truth. The rules are written by the wealthy for the wealthy, but these rules aren't secret. They're public, available to anyone. You can use the same rules. You just need to learn them. The real game isn't about making money. It's about creating systems that generate wealth. Using other people's time and money, leveraging tax laws, building appreciating assets, playing by rules that lead to freedom. Poor people follow taught rules. Rich people question those rules. The ultra-wealthy create their own rules and convince others to follow them. Remember, you don't get paid for time. You get paid for value created. Shift from time-based to value-based thinking. Everything changes. You stop trading hours for dollars. You start creating scalable value. The wealthy use 3 types of leverage: people, capital, technology. They multiply efforts through teams. They multiply investments through borrowed money. They multiply reach through technology. One person with leverage creates more than 100 without it. Risk isn't dangerous. Ignorance is dangerous. The wealthy don't avoid risk. They calculate it, manage it, use it to advantage. The game never ends, no finish line. Wealth is continuous. The wealthy keep playing, building, creating, because the game itself becomes the reward. The art of preservation, protecting your wealth. Building wealth is one game. Keeping wealth is different. Most people who make money lose it. Athletes go broke. Lottery winners file bankruptcy. Why? They never learned preservation. Preservation Rule 1. Diversification is your shield. Never put all capital in one place. Spread across different assets, markets, risk levels. When one fails, others protect you. That's how you survive crashes. Look at wealthy Canadian families. The Thompsons, the Westons. They spread across media, real estate, retail, investments, multiple businesses, multiple countries. That's how wealth survives generations. Rule 2. Cash reserves save you. The wealthy keep liquidity. 6 months expenses minimum, 12 months better. Cash provides options. You can buy when others sell, hold when others liquidate, survive when others fail. Rule 3. Insurance protects everything. Life, disability, liability, business, property. One uninsured disaster wipes out decades of building. Insurance isn't exciting, but it's essential. Rule 4. Legal structures protect assets. The wealthy create corporations, LLCs, trusts. Separation. If business gets sued, personal assets protected. Everything compartmentalized. Everything shielded. Rule 5. Tax efficiency preserves wealth. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. The wealthy minimize taxes legally, use registered accounts, corporate structures, tax-advantaged assets. Every dollar saved in taxes compounds. Risk isn't something to avoid. It's something to calculate and manage. The broke avoid all risk. The reckless take stupid risks. The wealthy take calculated risks. They assess probability, manage downside, protect capital while pursuing opportunity. Rule 6. Keep learning. The game changes. Tax laws evolve. Markets shift. The wealthy stay educated. They adapt. Yesterday's strategies won't protect tomorrow's wealth. Rule 7. Avoid lifestyle inflation. This kills more wealth than any crash. People make more, spend more. Bigger house, fancier car, suddenly trapped again. The wealthy control lifestyle. They live below means. They prioritize capital growth over consumption. Making money is offense. Keeping money is defense. Defense wins championships. You need both. Never neglect protection. Never ignore preservation. The wealth you build must last forever. People and relationships. Network creates value. You don't build wealth alone. The biggest fortunes were built through people, through relationships, through networks, through trust. Business is about people. Wealth is about people. Poor people try to do everything alone. Rich people build teams. The ultra-wealthy build networks that create opportunities they could never create alone. Your network determines your opportunities. Trust is the currency of wealth. Without trust, there's no partnership, no investment, no opportunity. The wealthy spend years building trust. They show up, they deliver, they keep their word. Your reputation is your asset. Rule 1 of networking: give before you receive. The wealthy give first, add value, make connections, share opportunities, help others succeed. People remember, people reciprocate. Rule 2, quality over quantity. 10 strong connections who trust you beat 1,000 shallow contacts. The wealthy build deep relationships. They invest time, show up consistently, create lasting bonds. Partnerships need 3 things: complementary skills, aligned values, mutual trust. If all 3 exist, partnerships create exponential value. If one is missing, partnerships fail. What kills partnerships? Ego, greed, poor communication, bad agreements. The wealthy communicate clearly, structure partnerships legally, define roles, align incentives, make expectations explicit. Rule 3. Your network is your net worth. Look at your 5 closest relationships. That's your future. You become the average of people you spend time with. Choose carefully. The wealthy curate relationships. They spend time with people who elevate them, challenge them, inspire them. They avoid people who drain energy, who complain, who pull down. It's strategy, protecting mindset and trajectory. Build valuable networks. Add value. Show up. Be reliable. Help others. Share knowledge. Make connections. Over time, you become someone worth knowing, someone who creates opportunities, and opportunities flow to people like that. Remember, business is people. Wealth is people. Success is people. Master working with people. Building trust. Creating value. You'll unlock opportunities you never imagined. That's the network effect. Your wealth journey, the beginning. We've covered everything. Understanding the game, building systems, creating assets, preserving capital. But none of it matters if you don't act. Knowledge without action is worthless. This is your journey, your choice. And that choice starts today, right now. Your first steps. Step 1. Assess where you are. Write down income, expenses, debts, assets. You can't change what you don't measure. Step 2. Define where you want to go. Specific number, specific timeline. Make it measurable. Step 3. Create your transition plan. Map the path from here to there. Step 4. Start investing in education. Read books, take courses, find mentors. Your education is your foundation. Step 5. Take your first wealth action. Open investment account. Buy first stock. Start side business. Create first asset. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to start. This journey isn't linear. You'll face setbacks. Markets crash. Investments fail. People doubt you. That's part of the game. The question isn't whether you'll face challenges, it's whether you'll persist. The wealthy don't succeed because they avoid failure. They succeed because they fail forward. Every failure teaches. Every setback refines. Poor people quit when hard. Rich people persist until breakthrough.
That's the only difference. Persistence, discipline, commitment.
Time is your most valuable asset. Every day you wait is compound growth lost forever. Think about where you'll be in 5 years if nothing changes. Same job, same income, same struggles. But think about where you could be if you start today. Assets built, income growing, freedom approaching. That's possible, only if you begin. Make a decision right now. Commit to your wealth journey. Tell someone. Write it down. Make it real. Decisions made with commitment and documentation, they last. They drive action. They create change. If you found value, subscribe. Share this. Drop a comment. What's one thing you're doing differently starting today? I'm building a community of people who refuse to stay broke. People committed to financial freedom. Join us. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. Your beginning. The game is there. The rules are clear. The path is visible. All that's missing is your decision, your commitment, your action. Financial freedom isn't luck. It's a choice. Your choice. A choice to play the real game, to follow real rules, to build real wealth. Welcome to the wealth game. Now go play it, build it, win it. Your future is waiting, and it's extraordinary.